What about you?
Nice.
Your breakfast, right?
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the morning for me. Breakfast, yeah. But well, I finished already, but yeah,
Yeah. What you had?
I had egg sandwich,
Sandwich? What kind of sandwich?
egg.
Egg sandwich. So, all right, all right.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
basic thing about this whole show I am trying to make is I'm not here with any sort of questions, so that I can have a real conversation with you, a raw conversation with you, so that
Okay,
if I come with nothing, I can go with a lot of things, right?
that's smart.
Yeah. So Walter, tell me about yourself.
No problem. Thank you for having me, and thank you for asking me to be on your wonderful podcast.
Yeah. So tell me about yourself, Walter.
Okay, well, let's see. My background is in music and in film. I've been lucky to do this since 1982. I've worked with a lot of good people, new people. Um, take the glasses off; it's probably easier, less shine. Good people, new people, um, experienced people, and some people who just didn't want to be in the game. So when you get across those things, that kind of kills creativity. The people that just don't want to do anything.
Hmm.
They're like, yeah, I'm just here for the money, or I'm here for the school credit, or I'm here because I got nothing better to do. It's not
How
fun.
did you actually get into this business? And music and filmmaking, they are like quite creative genres of working.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's see. Music, I got into it because my dad, when I was about 10 years old, he brought me to a music store and he says, I don't want you to do sports because all your friends are getting hurt terribly. And they were getting really hurt. And he says, I just don't want to deal with that for you. And I want you to learn this way. So you're creative. I think you'd be all right. And he was right. I was excited to be a creative person. I enjoy doing it. And excuse me, sandwich. And I enjoyed doing it. It was a lot of fun. And I wound up meeting people that were the same mentality. Then, when I was about 15 years old, maybe 16 years old, my dad found a couple of guys that had the same interest in me, and he says, "Why don't you guys start a band and make yourself some money on the weekend?" Okay, so we started doing that, and then when I went to high school, I was in high school at that time. I joined the music department and started making some friends and connections there. When I was about 15, yeah, still about 15, 16. Somehow the guys that I was with playing in the band, we figured we'd start writing a song.
Hmm.
So we wrote a song for fun, and I looked in the local newspaper in the classified ads. You probably don't even know how to spell
No.
that. But I looked in the classified ads, and there was a recording studio that was willing to rent out their space if you wanted to record your song.
Hmm.
So we wound up booking it, and my dad was a designated parent because everybody else was working, and my dad had musical interests. Nobody else really in the people did. So like, okay, well, take your son, take our sons, and make something out of it. So as I was paying the recording studio, my dad was just he happened to be in the room. My dad was very like, do your thing, grow up. You got to be a man,
Hmm.
but you still had to be a dad, right? Because I was still
Yeah.
underage.
Hmm.
You there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
am.
Yeah. So once again, my dad. I'm sure you're gonna edit this.
Yeah, I am gonna edit
My
this.
dad was okay. Then I'll back up my sentence.
Hmm.
My dad said he said, okay, well, how much did you pay these people anyways? And I think it was like $250 or something like that. He says, well, why don't you buy your own stuff? I'm like, well, I've been buying my musical equipment. I've been teaching lessons, and here I am. Okay, I'll buy some stuff. So he brought me to the local music store chain,
Hmm.
and he spoke to the guy behind the counter and said, hey, he was just at the studio. And the guy behind the counter says, yeah, I know him. He's a friend of ours. He says, I want to get the same recorder that he had for my son, and I want my son to pay for it. So they're like, well, he is underage, so we can't really get involved with any contracts with him for financing if that's what you want to do. And he says, all right, well, put it in my name, or I'll back it. Put it in his name and I'll back it. So I think that's what happened. He wound up putting it in my name and he backed it. And I bought this recording thing, and it was like $2,200 back then. It's like, wow. So I was like, well, that's a lot. and it came with a thick manual, so I started learning it.
Mm-hmm.
On the film side, um, once again, my dad, big influence in my life. He was passionate about creative stuff, so he went to the local stereo store, and when he was there looking at cameras, he wound up finding this thing called a video camera. And he asked the guy behind the counter, says, "This is for consumer use or is this for television use?" He goes, "No, no, they're coming out now, and people can use them, and people can buy them. It's
Mm-hmm.
average every day." So he wound up buying that, and when he got back to talk to his friends about it, they're like, "You know what? My daughter's getting married. We have a photographer. Why can't we have video as well?" It was like
Yeah.
unheard of
Mm.
to do that, right? It's like, what, a wedding video? What is that? So we wound up doing it, and my dad brought me along. I went to help him for sure. After all, he was helping me a lot. And then I saw some people there that were in school, and they're like, "Hey, weren't you just in our music school, in our music class in high school? Like, why? What are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm helping my dad, and we're doing this." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So we get back to the school, and then the guys are like, "Hey, this guy does videos, man. Maybe we should do a music video like MTV." Because MTV was just making it big at the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Sure, but we have to record something." And I said, "I got the recorder, remember?" And they're like, "All right."
Yeah. So
So
you were just at
merge
the
those
right
two
time
together.
with the right stuff.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right place, right time, right stuff, and right
The best
attitude
way to
too. That helps
describe
a
your
lot.
life, I think, would be it's an adult version of School of Rock, basically.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, because I just saw School of Rock like last week and I was like, this is the stuff I need to do in my life,
Nice,
right?
nice, very good.
What
Yep.
do you think actually the old films, the silent films, actually hold up any importance in the cinema world right now? Do you recommend that to the young filmmakers?
Well, those were the birth of the stories back then to film,
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, right? Whether they were black and white or early color films. So that was the birth of telling stories that people could watch and relate to and have a big appeal.
Mm-hmm.
They have roots in today, like for example, Stanley Kubrick. A lot of the filming things that he did were important. The storytelling and the directing of Spielberg, Stanley as well, right? These guys here, they really pushed the envelope. The people with money trusted them to move forward with the vision and create a market. So I think, yes, for sure, to be a student of film and to be a student of music as well, I think it's extremely important because you have things you can draw from, right? It's experiences.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, just to finish that up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
is the important thing was to always deal with somebody with experience. I was always like, "Hey, that guy's got experience. Go learn from him." Right? It's like, "Well, what about books?" No, experience is the way to go because books are theory. Okay, so yes, definitely go back through all that. Today, unfortunately, the problem with learning today is that it's, oh, watch a YouTube, oh, listen to a podcast. That's okay. That's like back in the day when go read a book, go read a book, right? It's the theory. You can't ask questions. You can't get involved. And even if you try to put a post as a comment or something, it might take a while before somebody replies, if they reply at all. How do you learn from that? You don't ask somebody a question when you're in the battlefield. Like you have somebody with a camera next to you filming, right? And all of a sudden something goes wrong on set. The guy with the experience knows how to deal with it because he's gone through this a million times.
Mm.
And someone who doesn't have the experience next to the person with experience is learning. It's like, how did he fix that? How did he solve that? That's the best teacher right there is experience.
Right. Actually, I was trying to watch this film tonight, which I actually watched a few minutes of. It was something Dr. Caligari. It was a very old film in 1920s, and one of the main ideas of the film. It was a German film actually, 1 hour something minutes, and the whole idea of the film was it's just shots of these two or three people with a lot of text on the screen, with a lot of music in the background. Do you think that as a filmmaker in the 21st century, making the films in the next quarter of the century, do you think we the young filmmaker should take up inspiration from those pieces, take up short ideas? Because one of the things in Goodfellas is Martin Scorsese actually uses the Great Train Robbery's last scene with the Tom guy. Actually, I think his name is Tom. Joe Pesci's character is named Tom, and there's a scene when he points a gun at the camera and shoots it. Do you think the cinema makers in the future should take up inspiration from those old German films or European films or Asian, any kind of films?
Yeah, you should, because that's going to be a lost art, and people are going to rely more on CGI and effects. And I'm not against that. I think there's a place for that. What I'm against is that it promotes isolation.
Hmm.
I don't like that. You can't learn being only as good as yourself, right? So to do something practical, those are called practical effects. To do something practically, you learn because you need a team of people trying to recreate physics without hurting anybody,
Hmm.
trying to create realism with people who are faking it, actors, right? So CGI has a place, of course, right? When you want to do something over the top, incredible, or you're trying to just get an idea out that is just impractical to do, like somebody jumping off a cliff. Well, okay, yeah, there's a place for that, right?
Hmm.
But otherwise than that, the other way is the best way to go.
I think I was reading this news a few days back. Actually, Aronofsky, the director of a lot of these amazing films like Black Swan and all of that, actually is either planning to start his production house with AI or have already started it. Do you think AI does have anything to do with filmmaking in the future?
I think it's going to be a coexist
Hmm.
because you
Explain.
can't kill the human spirit.
Yeah.
You can't kill the emotion, the drive, the passion. Like, for example, this, right? You and I are having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What's stopping you from having all your questions or a prompt in an AI and says, okay, I got stuff to do. I got to watch a film,
Mm.
right? You're not going to do it because you want to be involved. You've got passion. You've got a drive to do this, right? So I think in the future is going to be like that too. There was a lot of talk when Pixar came out with Toy Story. It's like, oh, that's it. No one's going to be drawing animation anymore. There's no more cartoons. There's more any of that stuff. Well, they're still there.
Mm-hmm.
They coexist. I think with AI, it's going to be the same way.
So, do you think it coexists as in people are going to use it to find some ways around the things? Or do you think it coexists as it gonna have its own industry for that matter?
I think it'll be like CGI. There's going to be specialists who deal with that because just because you prompt something in an AI and you, oh, look at this is great. Somebody who's trained is going to sit back and say, okay, but that's not the right expression that that character should be doing. They're smiling instead of being upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they're too upset. So redo it again. You try to regenerate it again. I'm sure at some point the character will stay the same and looks like, hey, that does look like Brad Pitt. That does look like anybody, right? That does look like that. But it's going to be like CGI. You can only use it enough before people no longer believe it. So I think it'll be a coexist. Be specialists involved in doing that have the patience and the attitude and trying to make it come through and go from there. It'll be cheap at first because they want everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
But then as things get more pronounced, better at it, I'm sure it's going to be, the price comes up.
Don't you think internet is gonna be not cool in the future? I think it is gonna be very not cool in the future because I see people switching to a lot of these analog things in the current times. Actually, people are starting to buy the physical media again. People are not relying over the phone. There are videos of people switching to analog watches instead of using their phone to see the time, and a lot of these ideas. Because as a student myself, when I take notes, I take my notes on a piece of paper. But the idea that there can be an iPad which is about $300, something like that, and I can take unlimited notes, and it would save paper if I talk from that perspective. But I want to take notes on paper, actual paper, because I want to take it, because it's different from a lot of these things. Do you think do you think similarly for that idea?
Well, what you just described is human spirit. Can't kill that,
Hmm.
right? So people will go back to analog because they're like, okay, I think I'm done swiping. I'm just staring all the time. My neck hurts. My thumbs hurt. I've got arthritis. All these things that these devices do because as humans, we're not built to be doing this hours and hours and hours, right? There's parts of us that just can't do that. So yeah, analog will come back for sure. It is coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like records and CDs and everything and watches, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big market. And people like that. First, it's going to be, oh, I remember my dad, my mom had that. It's nostalgic. And then after that, it becomes a status symbol that you've got one, and then everybody wants it. So it's definitely always coexist for sure. Technology always coexisted. When the printer came out, there says that's it. Typewriters are dead. You know, no,
Mm-hmm.
there's no more secretaries now. You just do this, and there's your printout. Well, the secretaries never died. They're still there.
Hmm.
Typewriters are coming back, still a little bit there. Some of them are, they want certain things that may be more electronic, more memory. You plug it in or whatever it is, like they're still there.
Yeah, there's
So,
still a market for typewriters in courts, I think, because in
yep,
India there is a big market for that, and actually writers are actually preferring typewriters over mechanical keyboards on computers.
yep,
Right. Do
yep,
you what?
yep,
Can you
yep.
tell me more about your docu series?
Sure. Which one?
The recent one
Anyone?
which you are collaborating with Kurt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've done a few together. One of them is called From Fish to Flame. It's a three-part series on this town in Canada that is the freshwater fishing capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The town is, I believe, I forget the number now. I think it's 10,000 or 20,000 or something like that. It's a small town, but it's right along the body of water where all these fish come. So it's been like that forever and a day. So that's there.
Hmm.
So we did a docu series on that, like a history.
So
Another one that we did was called. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So I was asking you, do you think it is harder for making a docu series over a fictionless series because you have to capture every aspect of the truth? Do you think you have that? Do you think you have to do that? Because I believe uh, not showing the whole truth is actually a very big sin. Not talking religiously, obviously.
I agree. I agree.
So do you think making a docu series is harder than a fiction series?
Well, both of them docu series based on reality and a fictional piece based on whatever you think of. Both of them require research. The research is extremely important on both sides because you have to relate to the audience.
Hmm.
If you come up with something that is too far fetched or too out there, there's no connection to the audience. So it'll either be a love or a hate. It's like, oh, I loved it. I thought it was funny. But it was supposed to be a documentary. It's supposed to be with the truth. No, it was funny. Whereas if it's relatable and it's the truth, like the word you used,
Mm-hmm.
that's extremely important because now people are like, oh my God, I didn't know that that was there. I didn't know that that was the freshwater fish capital of the world. I didn't know that. There's a lot of things that people relate to. And when you relate to someone, that's when you make a connection. And the connection is important for future work.
Right. Uh, I remember talking to Kurt about this series they were doing. I think you are part of that series too. Of
Adios, amigo.
uh,
Powering on.
sorry about that. Actually, my speaker just turned off automatically. Yeah. So I was talking about this. Yeah, I was talking about this series you did, or Kurt did, of this town down in Canada where there was a fire or some gas leak, and they are affected, and it shows resilience over the time that they came above that whole idea.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And that's the human spirit. Some
Yeah.
people don't want to leave the area, even though the danger of the natural gas is still there, present. It's been present forever.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't want to leave. They're like, well, what am I going to run from? What am I scared of? Right? You got to live there. No matter where you go, there's going to be something, whether it's a flood area or a tornado or monsoon or snow. There's something on every area. So you just have to pick the one that you most feel comfortable in. So that docu-series there, that what we tried to do as close as we can to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The challenges that we had was trying to find pictures or artifacts from 100 and something years ago, because technology wasn't there for that. Or if it wasn't something that people had. So we try to do the best we can for truth on that, and hopefully people find it relatable.
Right. Uh, do you think that making a docu-series in 2026, because of the doom scrolling that people are doing, it is harder because you have to put people on the edge of the chair every time. It isn't cinema as the traditional cinema says. It is actually just TikTokification of the whole idea of cinema.
Yeah, I think the doom scrolling thing. I think it's very segmented. Uh, as new technologies come into play and new things like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, all sort of stuff, there's going to be a time when people are going to say, I got to put that down because I don't believe in some of the things that I'm reading or it's too sensational. Let me go back to the analog world, which you talked about earlier, we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go and say, okay, well, where's my roots? I remember watching National Geographic with my dad when they talked about things in Africa, they talked about things in Western United States, talked about things in Norway. I want to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's once again the human spirit. We'll go back to what we know. The people that stay in doom scrolling and the people that stay in that world where they just focus on that, they have disconnection issues. They have, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm scared. Leave me alone. They hide behind what that does because it melts their mind. In my generation, that was called alcoholism. That was called drug abuse. Those were the times when people just wanted to disconnect from the world and they went into substances. And today, substances aren't really a thing, even though they're still there, right? I don't hear too many people going out on a Friday night and getting drunk. I hear more of people saying, oh, I'm going to stay in, I'll watch some Netflix, and maybe I'll watch some TikToks.
Right.
So the new substance abuse is the phone.
Did you went to a film school for learning all of this craft of yours?
I went to school for, excuse me. I went to school for electronics engineering, and I learned how everything worked back then.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in high school and college with music and with film, I knew how it worked on the inside. So people said, "Oh, you've got experience." Well, I know how they work. Okay, great, you're hired. So that was the part, right? So that really helped a lot as well.
Right. Do you recommend going to a film school?
I do to understand the greats and to have people you can network with, you can communicate with, you can talk with, you can share ideas with, and listening to whatever the professor or the instructor has to say about his experience. If they have done things that made money or were masterpieces of sorts and or things that people related to, that's the people you want to talk to, right? That's the real world YouTube, the real world tutorials. It's
Right.
extremely important for human beings to be together. This is how we're built, not to be isolated.
I remember listening to this line of Wes Anderson actually. It was either Wes Anderson or Paul Thomas Anderson or someone actually in that line. Uh, he said that while he was in film school, he dropped out of the film school after 2 days because the screenplay writer instructor told them, if you want to write the next Terminator 2, this isn't the place. And he said, what if I want to write the next Terminator 2? Do you think a lot of these professors in these big institutions like USC, Chapman, all of these, NYU, Tisch, right? All of these people boast about the traditional method when we are moving towards this new generation of media.
The roots are important. Roots are important. I can't stress that enough. Experience is important. There is new generation of media, but you know what? There's always been new generation of media. When we went from black and white to color, oh, that's the new generation. Well, now when people do something in black and white, it's an important piece. It's reflective. It's moody. There's something there to it, right? And how do you film in black and white? Well, there's a science to it. You have to color it a certain way. You have to, excuse me, you have to light it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
This way, the grayscale comes out proper. I think for me, if somebody wants to get into this industry and they're thinking about going to film school, I think it's great. I think they should do it, even if it's boring. It's not, because once again, you're meeting people. You never know where that guy next to you is going to wind up working. You never know who this girl's parents are. You never
Yeah,
know who this guy's cousin is,
that's
right?
the
You
most
don't know.
important.
Exactly, it's networking, right? You don't
Yeah.
know. Even the instructor could say, "Yeah, I've worked on a couple of movies, nothing big." Next thing you know, he winds up finding out that you're a rock star, what you're doing. He's gonna come up to you and say, "Hey, listen, James Cameron is a friend of mine. We have dinner this weekend. I want you to be on set with him." Right? How are you
Yeah.
gonna do that behind YouTube videos? You can't.
Right.
You can't.
But
Yeah.
there is a very
And
big
the other thing,
opposition to it.
yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is you have access to equipment that you can't find,
Yeah.
right?
I actually saw this ex post of these USC students using IMAX cameras to shoot their thesis, and I was like, whoa. I mean,
Yeah.
Nolan uses them, and now USC students. That's crazy. But actually, when I was looking down at the comment section, a lot of these people were like, if you want to become a filmmaker, you have to start from the bottom. You have to use the most basic camera and then go your way up. And IMAX cameras aren't it, right? But I
That's
do
right.
think using the best technology you have is the best thing you can do. But I do have that whole idea that having a degree or maybe studying something, maybe in literature, philosophy, psychology, is far much better than uh, majoring in film media, or like these film production courses in US, because in India I don't think there are many. No, there are not a lot of these institutions with these whole ideas, and India is not known for its creativity in education. So yeah, I do have that neutral stance on it.
Yeah. Uh, there's many benefits to going there. Like I said,
Right, yeah. No, I totally understand
the
that if you have the
networking.
money, you should go there.
Yeah, for sure. Even the connections you make, you never know, right? Access to the equipment, IMAX. You may go through your entire life being in this industry for 50 years and never use an IMAX camera, but you may
Right.
have used it in school. You got a
Mm-hmm.
base, a foundation. You got some experience. You never know where things lead. The whole thing is about networking and being active in that field. If you wake up if anybody wakes up in the morning and the first thing they're thinking about is, okay, how am I going to film, or how am I going to do this, or in what they want to do, then that's what they should be doing. When you wake up in the morning with a purpose, that's what you should be doing. When you wake up in the morning with dread, it's like, oh, I got to go work at McDonald's. Oh, I got to go clean this. That's not what you should be doing. You're wasting your time.
Right. Do you actually think uh, a film's most important part is the story rather than all of these shots? Because a lot of these people focus a lot on the most creative shots. Because I actually believe that the most basic thing in the film is the storytelling, and not the how you creatively shoot these scenes. How do you find out what camera angle or what uh, shooting idea you're gonna use?
Sure. Definitely agree with you about the story.
Mm-hmm.
The story is going to be what brings somebody in. Because think of ourselves when we're doom scrolling, as you say, right? You'll stop on something that has an appealing story, whether it's something funny,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's something news, or whether it's something entertaining, but you stop on it because it caught your attention. There's something entertaining about that story. So, yes, definitely for sure. If you're going to do something creative, read the story, read the script, read the log line, and say, okay, do I want to be involved with something like this? Do I see myself involved in this sort of stuff? And if you do, then that's good. That's what it should be. The second part of your question was technology, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the shots. If someone watches your film and says, "Oh my God, those shots are pretty," you're hoping that that's a film student like you or a film professional like you. It's like, okay, great. But if the average person is saying like, "Oh my God," then that's a problem because they miss the point of the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the film is the camera and all the technology has to get out of the way. The point is to show the story because the story is what makes the money. The people will relate to the story because 1% out of 100% are into the technology. The other people are just spectators, doom scrollers, watchers, ticket payers. So shots are nice to have, it's nice to see,
Mm.
but if they're adding to the story, if they're not adding to the story, then you're killing it. I remember vignettes were a big thing for a while. Everybody was putting vignettes and everything.
Mm, yeah, I
And that
remember
was
that too.
killing, yeah, and that was killing the story. It's kind of like, okay, well, these shots are pretty, and you're like, wow, look at that. The dog looks great, or the cat looks great. It's like, wow, very cinematic. It's kind of like, well, what was the story about?
Yeah, that
I
is
don't
one
know.
of
About a
the
dog.
main beef I have with indie cinema because when I watch an indie film, one of the most iconic thing is the only thing I take out from that film is how pretty it was. The story doesn't really actually communicate anything with me, and it is not one film. It is actually every film. A lot of these indie films in today's market are either slice of life or romance, or how a heartbreak turned a man into something else. I don't see any harm in making another Reservoir Dogs. I don't see any
Yeah.
harm in making another, let's say, Pulp Fiction, or in writing one, actually. Why do you think there's a rise in slice of life or these whole, like, a lot of these genres? Do you think it is because of the uh, rise of, you know, mainstream indie cinema?
Oh, there's only seven stories, they say. That's what they
Mm.
say. And how you blend them together, like that's the root, right? So how you blend these seven stories together, you come up with another story idea. But when you water that down, you see that the root is about a slice of life, or it's about tragedy, it's about romance, right? To me, I think Shakespeare wrote everything. There's nothing left to write. He wrote it all, right? So now it's how we adapt all that sort of stuff. So if if an independent filmmaker wants to make something, then it's got to concentrate on the story, get the technology out of the way. Has to, because then people relate to that. People can say, "Oh my God, that was such a good film. Can you imagine that dog? Can you imagine that person they finally reunited, right? And that changed the person's life after because they had lost this dog 10 years ago, 5 years ago. They finally found each other." That's what you want to hear, because that's what people are going to be talking about. Not to say, "Hey, was that a red or was that an RE? I bet you it was an IMAX. Are you a film student or do you work in the field?" "Yeah, I do." "Okay, we can have this conversation." But if someone's going to say to you, "Those shots were really nice. Like, did you use like a Canon camera or something? Are you a film student?" "No, no. It looked really pretty, and I know I've got a little phone camera, and it looks just like that." Ah, made a mistake.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely stories are extremely important. Focus on that too. If you're going to get involved in any project, whether it's independent or financed or big budget, look at the story because that'll make or break your career.
Right. What do you think are the most basic mistakes any indie filmmaker makes in his debut film?
Arrogance.
How can you explain more about it?
Yeah, being arrogant and not listening to or not taking people on with experience, right? It's kind of like, "Oh, I know how to use this red camera. Oh, I know the lens. Oh, I know how to edit. Oh, I know how to do soundtrack. I know how to do everything. It's me, I'm the person." Well, that's arrogance. And you're only going to be as good as you are. You need a team of people who are way better than you, because that fast tracks you to
Mm-hmm.
get as good. And be humble, be a student of the process. Even if you're the director, or you're the writer, or you're the cameraman, whatever part of the crew you are, be a student of that production and just listen. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're going to fail.
I totally believe that line because I actually was in this group where I was thinking I was the smartest and I wasn't the smartest, and I realized it very long after I joined the group, and I was thinking I was the best, but I wasn't. And I actually thank myself every day that I left that group, because if I was in that group, I wouldn't be doing this thing, right?
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
thank
you.
you. Can you tell me what are these two boxes behind you?
Oh, right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so if you look at my framing right now, which is
Mm-hmm.
funny, but it's definitely a Wes Anderson frame,
Mm-hmm.
right? Symmetry?
Yeah, but no yellow though.
No, with no what?
No particular bright color. Like he uses yellow in the
Oh,
yeah, yellow
yeah,
or
yeah,
pink.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, this is a screening room that I'm sitting in. This is where, when we're done a big production, the client says, "Okay, well, let me see what we got."
Hmm.
So they come and sit here. There's some chairs behind me, some cinema chairs. The back box here. Let me stand up so people don't know. This box here
Mm-hmm.
and this box over there
Yeah.
is to absorb the low frequencies in the room.
All right.
So a lot of the bass frequencies, like the low stuff, and then to my left and to my right, there's panels that go all the way around, and those ones there are absorbing mid frequencies and some of the higher frequencies.
Hmm. You're really tall
So this
though.
room is, yeah, they're tall. They are. Yeah.
No, you are really tall.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
have. I'm almost 2 meters.
Almost 2 meters. I'm about 5'4", so you're really taller than me.
Oh, yeah, there I am.
Yeah, because and your setup is actually one of the things I really want to have when I grow older. I really want to have a private theater of myself with a lot of these DVDs of film of my favorite films. Right?
Nice,
You
nice.
mentioned that you started in 82. How old are you?
I do. I'm 59.
Oh, 59. You don't look your age. You look like 45, 46.
I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, minus
Oh.
the bald spot, you're really perfect.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How do you
Well, it's
deal with the
I,
baldness?
what I got to do about the baldness? I don't know. Is there something in your country that could help?
In my country, no. My country people do suffer from this, and they suffer from it a lot. Two of my friends are starting to bald. One from the scalp, and one from the what do you call it? The line, the
Temple,
gap between your eyes and your the the point.
forehead.
This point, yeah. And it is a very big problem. Though I am very fortunate that I don't have this problem. Though I do have some hair loss in these area, but I think that's really just normal.
Well, those are trophies that we have.
Yeah, as a man, I think this is the trophy we only get in our life, right?
Yep.
I
And
actually,
it's funny, women don't really care.
yeah, actually I saw
They're
this
like,
video of
so,
this girl, and she was actually bald from all the way from hair to hair, and she only
oh
had
my
these
goodness.
hair, and I was scared as hell because I cannot live with that. I would either shave my head bald, though we cannot do it in Hinduism until our father expires, dies,
Oh,
but it
okay.
is it is a very big embarrassment for me, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how Jason Statham lives.
I don't know. I don't know either, but it gets to a point where, but hair loss is a man thing. This is in our heads, kind of like, oh my God, with this and that. A woman, they don't really care. If you ask a woman, they're like, so. A woman
Hmm.
more cares about security. They care more about how are you going to take care of me when I'm pregnant, when I'm the weakest of my moment of my life. How are you going to protect us? How are you going to take care of us? That's what a woman is built instinctually. A man instinctually is built to fight, to gather, to hunt,
Yeah.
to protect. That's our instinct.
Hmm.
So when we notice that we're losing hair, that instinctually we think we're getting older and we can't protect. So it's all in the mind.
Yeah. Speaking of the mind, I believe a man actually goes to the gym and works on his body because he thinks that what appeals to the other women actually, and he competes within the man group, and girl does that similar thing with makeup to compete with the girls around her. And though it wasn't really a filmmaking thing, we jumped off that idea a very long time ago, but I think that's a very cool fact to tell.
Yeah, it is. A man does that because once again, it's instinct to
Mm-hmm.
protect, to provide, to hunt, to gather. So the stronger they are, the more confident they feel about themselves, the more they know that they can provide. It's instinct. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something that we think about. It's just instinct. And a woman wants to seem that they're very fit, very attractive to a man because they want to lure a man. That's their instinct because they know that a good provider and a fit woman will provide a great offspring that are strong and capable to keep the bloodline going. That's just instinct. That's
Mm-hmm.
just instinct. So when a woman looks at a man, it's like, oh, he's cute. What does he do? What's his job? You know, is he a jerk? Is he this and that? Is he protect? They talk about that. And the man is more different. It's kind of like, oh, she's pretty, you know, like, does she do this? Does she do that? Right? No matter whether you like it or not, this is how we are built. This is just
Mm-hmm.
how it is. So people say, oh, don't talk like that about women. Don't talk about that. It's instinct. What's there to hide from? This is who we are. This is how we is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's life. And if it wasn't that way,
Mm-hmm.
we would be in trouble. We wouldn't be around.
Yeah, we are the apex predator for a reason,
Yep,
right? And I'm just gonna assume that you have kids. Do you?
I do. Yeah, I
Ha-
have children. They're all in their 20s.
in their 20s. So you had kids very late in your life.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah. How old were
I
you
did. I
when you
could.
had your first kid? If you don't mind me asking.
My first child was in 2000, so I was 33.
33. Okay, that's not that late. I was thinking much later. I think I just my math actually didn't math, right?
Mm.
How do they actually react to the stuff you are doing?
Well, they're used to it because I've done it way before them.
Hmm.
I was already involved for 20 something years
Are they a
before they.
collaborator in your stuff?
My son, yeah, he likes to be involved because of the camaraderie and stuff like that. At first, it's a bit difficult. It's a younger teenager trying to find their way.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he realized he was making lots of money at it, he's like, okay, well, this is interesting. And then the friendship and the camaraderie and the networking was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, listen, I understand you're a computer programmer, you're a computer scientist, you like that sort of stuff. I says, but you never know when you're dealing with someone what they have or what
Mm.
other things they do. So it's important to network. So it's working out for him.
Right. Do you think actually this is a very bad question I think, but do you think coming to a creative field is fine if you know that you're not gonna make big, if you know you're not gonna make it big in the industry, like when you're an artist, you're a painter, you know the you know your art, and you know how low are the expectations of your maybe your peers, and how the peer pressure works on you, how are the probability of you making it big in the industry, or for fashion designing, or for filmmaking, or for any of these creative fields. Do you think it is fine to be an average in this whole creative field?
Yes, I think it's a good idea to be involved in any fields. This field for sure. To any field, whether it's film, fashion, construction, book reading, whatever, anything. The secret to being successful is you have to be a salesman first.
Hmm.
You have to know how to sell yourself and what you do. You have to. That's the very first thing in the world. If a person has a difficult time approaching another human being, has a difficult time talking, is socially awkward, they're never going to make it. They might as well go work somewhere where they don't have
Hmm.
to deal with any of that stuff, except deal with the boss, and that's it. But if you're interested in being successful in this, you have to be a good salesman first. Period. Period. And then when they say, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I make films." "Oh, you do? Okay, well, tell me about it." "Oh, I made this, I made that." Even if it's small stuff. But when you can sell, you make money. This is the only reason why I've been doing this since 1982 is that I'm a great salesman. That's it.
Hmm.
And then when people go, "Oh, Walter, yeah, oh, well, work with him," I execute. I execute. I try to be part of the solution. If not, I'm part of the problem.
Do you
When I
think
do
you're a
that,
better salesman than Michael Scott?
I don't know. I've never went head to head.
I think he is better. I don't know about your salesman
I don't
tricks,
know.
but I think he is better than anyone in this planet. I think he can become the president of America if he wants to.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I've never done with them head to head, but I know that for myself, I'm the greatest salesperson for myself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a fictional character. It was a kind of a joke I was trying to make, but I think my English humor sense is not that great right now. I'm trying to work on it, actually.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Well, I took him as fictional or not fictional because there's many Michael Scotts in the world, right?
Yeah.
But I took it as an umbrella and say, well, I don't know. I never went head to head with this person, this avatar, or this person, whatever.
Right.
But that's the thing. If you want to make it and you want to be in this, like, what is this, 44 years of me doing this?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be the same thing and still making lots of money at it, have a theater room, have equipment, have connections, and do anything you want, you have to sell yourself first. And if you don't know how to sell yourself, whether it's you, whether it's your next door neighbor, whatever, if you can't, then go find a job. Go find a job and just be a cog in the machine. That's it. Because that's where you're going to feel comfortable. But if the person can sell themselves and say, hey, this is what we can do. And it's more about saying, I'm selling myself and this is what's going to happen if you come with me.
Mm-hmm.
Not, if you do it, I can help you do that. It's never going to go anywhere. Ever, ever. So always do it yourself, bring people in, and move forward. The risks are higher, the reward is higher, but at least you feel creatively inspired. You're going to make money at it, and you're going to be doing something you enjoy doing. So along with film school, sell yourself. I know that I've spoken at the university many times, and there's students in there, and the professor all the time is like, "We're not Hollywood where we are, but somehow Walter has made it for all these years. Maybe you can tell us a story." Everybody's like, "Huh?"
Mm-hmm.
And the younger people who don't know me, right? The new students coming in, like, tell us, like, how here, really, like, what? And I said, well, you got to sell yourself. Who's here is a great salesman? Out of like 40, 50 people, one person starts to do this. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, well, sell me something. Sell me this pencil. Sell me your book.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So they get involved and they're like, well, this book is great. It's hardcover. It's one of the last edition. It's not, all these things about this book, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's not bad. You're
Mm.
telling me about the product, but you're not telling me why I need the book.
Yeah. Where
And
do you think your salesman tricks come from? Do you think it is some summer job you did over your career as a student in school, or do you think it is coming from being in a university? Anywhere, where do you think it comes from?
it comes from me wanting to work for myself
All right.
and understanding that if I had to have somebody sell me,
Mm-hmm.
then they're probably just going to wind up selling themselves. They don't need me.
Right. This was the answer I've never heard anyone say. Actually, a lot of these people that I've talked to over these years of me being a student now being a podcaster, all of these people have said one thing. I didn't had money when I was growing as a kid, so I tried to sell lemonade on the curb, and now I have all of these skills. But I think that's the answer which is the best, because you are really honest with your stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice of you to say that.
Yeah. So apart from all of this filmmaking world, do you do anything else other than this?
No, this is it. This is my career.
This is the only thing you do.
This
Actually,
is my career.
so can you take me through your day?
Sure. I get up in the morning and it's like, okay, what can I get involved in with today? Where did
Mm-hmm.
I leave off yesterday? And if I wake up in the morning with that question, that's a good thing because it's like that means everything I wanted to get done yesterday is done,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for the day I wake up and say, okay, I have to edit this 30-second commercial or I have to review this script. Okay, I have to have that done that day
Mm-hmm.
because if I leave it for half of one day, half another day, then you wake up and you're in a confusion. You're not motivated. You're not excited to work. So you have to have your goals done. Write down your goals, get it done that day, and then the next day you wake up and say, "Ooh, a fresh day. What am I doing?" That's my day. So if I get up, I look at scripts if I have to do that. There's editing that maybe I need to continue on with more scenes I have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Music, there might be somebody that needs some mixing of their album. So it just depends, project to project, what I have to do. There is no every day I get up and I have to do this, I have to do that. There's none of that, and there's freedom. There's no
Mm-hmm.
chaos because once again, you have your goals written down. You know what you're doing that day.
Do you feel any sort of procrastination coming in at your way when you're just sitting at your table?
No, No procrastination because you have to be in control of the situation.
How do you deal with procrastination if it comes at your way?
Well, you just don't have any regrets. You don't have anything that you left behind from yesterday. Because if you don't complete your goals from yesterday, it becomes a problem for a creative person the next day. They're kind of like, I forgot about that. I don't want to deal with that. Let me go have some coffee. Let me go have some breakfast. Because you didn't finish the process. So a creative person has to be organized, which is impossible for a creative person because generally they're scattered. But you have to force yourself to be organized. When you're
Mm-hmm.
organized, you actually have goals, and then the next day it becomes freedom to do something different, something new. And procrastination can't live in freedom.
Yeah, procrastination, I think, and I believe firmly that is one of the biggest problems in the way of creative people. Because I was talking to this very great gentleman called Terry Tucker, late December last year, and he said he gave me a very big statistic that a lot of these Americans think they can write a book, but they don't because of some reasons they don't know because of the procrastination. That is the biggest reason, and I believe the idea that a person would become famous, and this is married after daydreaming I'm talking about. I don't know if you know about that or not, but it is a very big problem in young teenagers or even people in their late 20s, 30s, 40s. It is a problem, it's a psychological problem. It's actually when you start talking to yourself for a very long time, you zone out from the whole idea of reality, and then you start talking to yourself of a lot of these situations. Like I think the most basic example of this would be when you're in the shower and you start to recall that moment that you had with someone over a fight, and you are like, oh, I could have said this, oh, I could have been the first guy who punched, and all. And this is the most basic idea, and I actually suffer from this. I When I'm sitting on my toilet seat, if I don't have a phone with me, I actually sometimes start talking like I am a guest on a podcast, and people are asking me questions, and I think that is one of the biggest reasons a person who's creative or trying to become creative cannot become big in this field, because he had the fear that he will become or she will become the next Tarantino or the next Christopher Nolan or the next Wes Anderson, and she or he fears from that idea that they have to do a lot of these work, right? How?
That's arrogance.
Yeah, that is arrogance, and actually, I think to actually fight this off, the most simple idea is the most simple solution is that you actually sit down with yourself and you think, okay, if I pursue this, what would be the results over the next 20, 30 years, 40 years, right?
You're asking me that question?
No, I'm asking, do you believe in that statement?
Can you repeat that statement?
I said, for any creative person suffering from arrogance, the only solution is that he or she should sit down, talk to himself with the piece of paper, and say, if I do this and if I don't do this, these are going to be the outcomes in the next 10, 20, 40, 30 years.
Okay, well, that's the wrong direction to go because a person with arrogance should first of all put that away and become a salesperson and get people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, the direction comes clear, and you've got people on the team that are better than you and have ambition and experience.
Mm.
Then the vision comes through because once again, if you go down the other path of like, oh, where should I be in 20 years? Anytime someone says that's
Mm.
arrogance. It doesn't go anywhere.
Right. So
Because if you couldn't
yeah,
figure,
this is very great to know from a person that old. I'm not. Uh,
I get it,
yeah,
experience.
right. But it is really great to know about this because I was doing this. I was actually practicing this journaling method, and actually, thank you for this idea that I shouldn't use the word I. Right.
That's right. That's right. You gotta. It's a killer because that promotes individuality. Individualism in anything is not enough because once again, you're only as good as you are. So get the whole team together and proceed, plan a future.
Do you think any filmmaker's biggest goal in the initial process should be to get into a big film festival. It should be either A, get into a big film festival and try a network, to trying to get himself or herself or their film to be on a big streaming platform, or just three, just try to get it into theaters.
Well, theaters is where the money is.
Yeah, the money is there, but actually I think if nobody knows about your film, there's a very there's a very big probability the film is not going to perform.
Right. The money is in the theaters. But how do you get people in the seats is you have to buy ads. You have to
Mm-hmm.
advertise. Any big movie, whether it's a $25 million or a $300 million one, usually the budget is double for advertising.
Yeah, just like
So
Anora, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
anything big, right? They have to advertise it. If they don't put money into advertising, then it flops.
Hmm.
A flop is because they don't want to put money into advertising. That's it. That's what a flop is. Because any movie, whether it's good or bad, it's if it stays in the theaters long enough, people have an opinion whether they like it or don't like it, but it's still making money. So for you, surround yourself with, or you, anybody, the avatar,
Mm-hmm.
you, surround yourself with great people, experienced people that are way better than you. If you want to do the film festival route, go there as a spectator, go there as a student, and find out which one was the best one that you saw, which one was the most important one, which one had the best audience reaction. If
Hmm.
you look at the audience and how they reacted, that's the important stuff because that's the stuff that connects with people, not the shots, not the lighting, not the makeup, none of that stuff. It's how did the people react to that film? Why did they react to that film? Why did you like that film so much? Oh, the dog was incredible. Why did you like it? Oh, the man finally found his dog. Okay, what do you think of the lighting? What? What lighting? See, so that's
Mm-hmm.
important. So go to a film festival, find out which one's the best, and look at audience reaction. When you're there, if the filmmakers are there, talk to them. Become a student of that film. Become a student of the process and listen to them. Yeah, they're going to be arrogant and they're going to be this and that, but move all that emotional stuff out of the way and get to the heart of it and
Hmm.
find out why did that look so good. Ask the guy, how did you get the message out? Well, we found the right actors that were perfect. Okay, great. So try to mimic that. Then go to your local theater, wherever it could be, right? And say, how much does it cost me to rent the theater? I've never heard of you. Why would I want to rent the theater?
Hmm.
Well, because I want to have a screening. I want to show people. All right. Well, for the weekend, it's $300. Great. It cost me 5,000 to make the movie, just to say, right? It's very cheap, very low budget, but we made it. We made it. Cost me 300. Okay, great. Spend $300 on ads, local ads, and get people out. Do an incredible 30-second teaser, something that has an absolute connection and emotion to the audience. Not the great shots, not the great lines, none of that stuff. But what's the emotional connection? A lot of times I've cut trailers where you see the actor and a reaction that had nothing to do with the line. I took a line from here,
Mm-hmm.
put it with the reaction here. It's a new story. It's a new short movement in that little area, new segment. But it gets the audience because it says like, I can't believe I lost my dog. The original line was the person says, I can't believe I lost my dog. Right? But I took the one out where the guy was like, I can't believe I lost my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So people are like, why? What's he pissed off about this dog about? Right? It creates questions. And people want to know answers to the questions by going to the theater to watch it.
Right. Actually, let's. I am down to the last two questions I really want to ask you. First being, do you think there gonna be some resistance from the people, from the audience, if the film is with not known actors or lesser known actors in the A-listers, or not even the A-listers, the B-listers or the C-listers? Do you think that even though you can spend a ton of money on marketing, there will be the film could be a flop? And while I say this, I can give you two examples of these Indian films. There's this Indian film called Ramayan, which is actually based on an epic, an Indian text. And have you heard about it?
Not yet, no.
Yeah. So okay, the guys who are doing the VFX on this film actually have worked very closely and actually have worked on these Christopher Nolan films and actually Dune too. So they are the best in the industry for Actually, DNEG is the name of the studios. They're doing the VFX. You might know about them, right? This
I
the
heard something about him.
Yeah. So he is doing, their company is doing the VFX. A very popular Indian director is doing the direction, and actually Hans Zimmer is doing the music for the film. Right? It's a very big budgeted film. It's a I think a 100 to 100 million dollar film, maybe more than that, and it's actually a very big thing for Indians because Ramayana is a very big sentiment to us. And there's this another film called Nukkar Natak, which is a very small indie film, which actually won some awards in UK for the best actress in the role, and
Okay.
they are releasing the film later this month. And I think, percentage wise, the Nukkar Natak film would do very better than Ramayan film because they had a very good marketing team and they used Instagram. Because even though this is a very big film, Ramayan, you haven't heard about it. It got such a big cast, it got such a big crew, but you know, it, let's revolve around that idea.
Well, I've seen a lot of George Clooney movies, who's an A-list actor that made nothing.
Hmm.
They didn't do well at the box office. Julia Roberts, uh, all these things, even early Christopher Nolan stuff. It's like what? It's difficult to understand, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's no advertising budget around it, right? Like even to win an Oscar
Right.
itself costs a lot of money. It's like
Mm-hmm.
19, $20 million in just people calling on the phone and trying to get votes and trying to do all stuff. So it's a machine. No matter what, there's money involved. So I personally don't think an A-list actor will bring anybody to the front, and a C-list or even a Y-list actor, somebody who's never been. I don't think that's going to do anything for anybody. What's important is the story and how people relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about the story. And then when you've got people that are nobodies and they kill it, like they really do a good job, they actually become that character. And the
Mm-hmm.
director makes sure that the characters go in the line of the story. The right emotion comes out of the character, the right movement, right? Everything is about purpose. And then they go and put out ads like Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, all these stuff. Then people will come and see it because all of a sudden that guy lost his dog, right? It's like why is he so pissed off about losing a dog? Like it's more of a crying thing, not a pissed off thing. Is this an
Yeah.
action movie? Is this a hate movie where he broke up with his wife and the wife took the dog? Like, well, what is it? Like, there's questions, right? People want to come and see why that guy's going,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll make a star out of him because he actually understood the character, he understood the role, he understood the story, he understood it all. So for me, it's nice to have those A-list actors as more of a trophy piece. But if there's no, once again, it goes back to salesman. If you can't sell something, it's not going to be sold.
Okay. I, as an Indian, I recommend you going to the theaters for the Ramayan film later this year in actually October, if I'm not wrong. So if you can, please go to the theaters for that film, and please tell me what you think about it. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the last question for you is, can you recommend a list of movies or books or any sort of resource that can make a good filmmaker apart from the salesman thing? Because we have a lot of resources for salesmen. Salesman doesn't really require any resources online. It requires a physical interaction.
Right. Well, I'm a student of a whole bunch of them. I don't know if I really can pick anything. Like Space Odyssey 2000 is very good. The student part there is how can so much silence have so much emotion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like he's out in space. There's really not a lot of sounds in
Yeah.
space. You don't hear cars or nothing. So that's a good thing to be a student of is how do they get emotions out of silence, which is great. In action, probably look at some Jason Statham stuff,
Hmm.
right? Like he really knows how to convey no emotion into an explosive scene. Daniel Craig is the same way, right? He's
Yeah.
got the same no emotion. All of a sudden, it's like he's fighting 800 people.
Hmm.
So there's that if you're looking for action. For drama, anything that's got women involved in drama, because that is complete, gets it together, right? To see about like women, like chick flicks, I think they're called, right? Where
Hmm.
women, it's all about women's story, women's pursuit of this and that. I think that's a good student to be for that because you can see how each woman in that film shows emotion.
Hmm.
So when you're writing for an emotional scene with a woman involved, you're like, oh, I remember that actress in that movie, how she played that part. I think I need that character for this. So any chick flicks like that is great. Romantic comedy, I think Adam Sandler really has that niche put
Yeah.
together, right? Where he's always like, it looks like he's confused or lost.
Hmm.
He doesn't know what's going on. All of a sudden, he turns into this big character, and then he falls in love, and everybody's happy.
He was my
That's
introduction to American rom-coms.
was it
Yeah, he was. I mean, I was too young to watch them, but yeah, he was.
nice.
Yeah. Any
Horror
books?
movies,
Yeah, horror
books.
movies.
Okay, horror movies. I think the early Jack Nicklaus stuff,
Hmm.
like
Yeah, The Shining and all of that.
yeah, like how you can see a person. Like
Hmm.
he's got that look anywheres where you think he's gonna lose his mind, but that's
Yeah,
just
he's really
because
creepy.
yeah, it's just because of the character he plays. Otherwise than that, he's
Hmm.
just a quiet person. And also he's got eyelashes that do this, so
Yeah,
eyebrows that do
man.
this. So it's kind of like
If I see him at night outside my house, I will be scared.
yeah, yeah. That's the culture he built around himself. If he
Yeah.
was in romantic movies, then you're kind of like all right. So he's that type of guy. So that's good for horror, comedy. We talked about it. Rom com we
Anything
did.
crime and mystery and all of those dark areas.
Yeah, crime and mystery is good. Let's see who's good for that. I think a lot of the British TV shows,
Hmm.
like Acorn TV, if you ever seen that at all, I think
No,
that's
I
still around
haven't.
everywhere. They have a lot of in-depth interweaving crime stories. Like the stories are complex because they're always trying to make the audience. Oh, that's the guy. Oh, wait a minute.
Hmm.
Who is it? Right. So that's great for storytelling to figure out how to get to dead ends
Yeah.
and how to get to the point where this is the person that it is. Right. So be a student to those. Acorn TV does it really good. The British stuff they don't have a lot of emotion in their acting. That's just the nature of their people.
Hmm.
But the stories are like wow, what a way to go.
Any books
Hmm. For story wise in books,
or direction?
yeah, I don't know. I think I prefer more to be a viewer, a spectator, because there's a lot to learn as opposed to just trying to come up with your own ideas how the scene should go,
Hmm.
and then maybe take notes and say, okay, how did Jack Nicholson take care of this, or how did Adam Sandler deal with this, or so those are things that you can take notes and then take sections of and then make something out of. Excuse me. I guess I'm getting dry. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. Actually, the conversation was really a very great thing I had this week. Very great start of the week, and
Thank you.
if I come to United States in the next few months, I will try to get a meeting with you in person because you are one of the best filmmaking people I've ever talked to.
Wow, thank you for that. That's a nice compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, I will
Thank
meet you and Kurt because yeah, me and Kurt know each other for like a year now, and we have talked twice, and he is a great person too. Actually, I saw his very early video. I don't know how long do you know him, but I saw his video on this podcast, and he was really young and really slim. I think he is a bit on the fatter side now. I'm fat, so I can say that too.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, he's a good person. Yeah, I like working with him.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to not be in the way, but yet when you have an ask, right? It's like, hey, what do you think of that? He'll tell you honestly, right? And that's what you want to hear, whether it's good or bad. You
Mm-hmm.
need that because how else do you improve? If someone says you're great all the time, and all of a sudden it gets in here and, oh, I'm great. You don't have to tell me anything.
Yeah. I think all of you Canadians are really sweet.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions for me?
I don't know. Are you putting this on YouTube? Are you putting it on your channel? What you doing?
I'm gonna be putting this on YouTube, maybe on Spotify. I've actually uploaded the Kurt episode. I'm gonna be putting in three parts. So the first part is actually on YouTube, maybe by now. So yeah, I think yeah,
Okay.
only on YouTube though. Yeah,
Well, listen, thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad that there was something that I said that inspired you in some way, shape, or form.
yeah. Thank you for all of
Um,
this, all of the wisdom you gave me.
you're very welcome, and thank you for saying that.
Right. Have a great day, man.
You too. God bless.
God bless you too. Bye.